Thank you, Mr. President. When I think of Senator Byrd and all of our great memories of him, it reminds me of how important it was to him to understand what people are going through in their lives and in this economy, certainly. I know if he were here, he would be down on the floor speaking about the importance of helping people who have lost their jobs, people through no fault of their own who've gotten caught in this economic tsunami, who find themselves maybe just one step away from losing their house after they lost their job, probably lost their health insurance. Maybe they're in the midst of foreclosure right now because they lost their job and can't pay their house payment. Families who are counting on us to understand, just as Senator Byrd always did, what it's like to be a middle-class family, a working family, where the breadwinner has lost their job, where the breadwinner can no longer bring home the bread, or the food, the gas for the car, pay the electric bill, because they've lost a job. We know that there are 5 people today looking for every 1 job that's available. Now, that used to be worse. It used to be 6 people looking for every 1 job. We're beginning to see things turn. When President Obama took office, as we know, we were losing about 750,000 jobs every month. And by focusing on the recovery, by investing in people, by investing in making things in this country, by focusing on job training, as well as helping people without jobs, we've been able to turn that around. 0 jobs lost at the end of the year, and now we're gaining jobs. But we still, even though things are turning around, are in a situation where we have 5 people, 5 Americans, that are looking for every 1 available job. The emails and the phone calls I get truly are heartbreaking. They are people who have worked all their lives. These aren't people who some have said are lazy. These are people who've worked hard all their lives, and they've done nothing but play by the rules, take care of their families, follow the law, put a little bit aside to send the kids to college, want to have a good American life, what they have worked hard for as their American dream. And unfortunately, because of a lot of factors in the global economy, too much in the last decade of folks paying attention to cheap prices and not American jobs, and losing jobs overseas, not enforcing our trade laws, or not focusing on making things here in this country, we have a situation where people have lost their jobs. And then when you add to that what happened on Wall Street, where people lost savings, pensions, 401ks, and maybe their job, when credit dried up and small businesses couldn't get loans, or manufacturers couldn't get the help that they needed, people find themselves in a disastrous situation through no fault of their own. They didn't create the Wall Street crisis. They weren't the ones that decided whether or not to enforce our trade laws. They weren't the ones to decide whether or not we as a country were going to invest in American manufacturing. But they are paying the brunt of it. And we've tried for 8 weeks now, 8 weeks, to pass a bill that is a jobs bill, to invest in jobs in the economy, and to continue help for people who are out of work through no fault of their own. And boy, they hope it's temporary. They sure hope it's temporary, and we hope it's temporary. And despite 8 weeks and tremendous amount of negotiations, we have not been able to get the votes to stop a filibuster. We've come up short every time. Mr. President, I'm hopeful this week we will be able to get beyond that. The people in Michigan are desperately hopeful. They're also desperate. They're also angry that we've not been able to get beyond this partisan wrangling to be able to actually help them keep a roof over their head and food on the table for their families. We'll have another opportunity, I hope this week, to change that. And it's absolutely critical that we do. There are a lot of people that are not down in the weeds about what's going on legislatively, aren't following closely what's happening here, but they know this. They know that they need help, and they want to know who's on their side and who's willing to understand and come forward and appreciate what families across this country are going through. And Mr. President, I hope this week that we're going to be able to say to them that finally that this United States Senate gets what's happening to families, and that we're going to be able to extend the temporary assistance that has been needed for so many families through unemployment insurance. Thank you, Mr. President.